And it's a bit of a retro throwback. You may remember way at the beginning of the game, let's not fall in there, we visited the Catacombs in order to get this sword. Well, now we're going to return. We're going to go through it properly. And we're going to go beyond it into, well, I won't say the name just yet. Now, a thing to note about, actually, I'll demonstrate it. You don't have to worry about it in the graveyard, but you'll want to choose your weapon carefully when you go into the Catacombs. And if you were keen-eyed, you may have noticed my weapons list is a little bit different. It's because I made a weapon specially crafted for the Catacombs. Alright, so look at this guy. Whoop. Now, actually, I forget, did I do the thing? No, I didn't do the thing. Okay, so, if you kill these skeletons normally, they will reassemble after a very short period of time, like, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. And if you have more than one, that's a problem, because you can easily get swarmed. They don't drop any souls, so yeah, it can be a problem. You won't really get anything out of it. So what do? Well, you got two options. You can either pack a divine weapon. And if you use a divine weapon, as you can see, we gain some souls, and the thing will no longer respawn. So you can pack a divine weapon. And to get a divine weapon, you can either use a Stora's Straight Sword, which you find in Valley of the Drakes, or ascend a regular weapon using the Divine Ember, which you give to Andre. I don't remember where you get the Divine Ember, I'm sorry. Was it... I can't remember. Might have been the Painted World, or maybe that was the Occult Ember, or whatever it's called. But yeah, if you use a divine weapon, the skeletons will not respawn, and they will give you an honestly pitiful number of souls. But that would be my recommendation on how to take care of it. I crafted this weapon especially for this area, and I don't regret it. And since we're doing it pretty late in the game, the souls required to ascend the weapon up to its highest point are a little bit less of a big deal compared to if you want to take this on. It's maybe even your first late game area. So the other way that you can get rid of the skeletons forever is to kill the necromancers that control them. Every little ways into the catacombs, you'll meet a necromancer. And as long as he's still alive, the skeletons around him will respawn. If you can rush straight through and kill them immediately, they're done, and the necromancers don't respawn. So that's the other way to go about it. It's harder because you are very likely to get bum rushed by skeletons, and even if you make it and kill the pyromancer, or the necromancer rather, you may just turn around and be met with like 5 or 6 skeletons who will mess up your day, and you'll just have to die for each one, basically. Die for each necromancer. Never noticed these things, unless I did when I was here earlier. That's a little disgusting. Anyway, when we were here before, we activated this switch to open up a door. We didn't activate this bonfire, which I'm going to not rest at, just so I don't have to worry about the skeletons. I'm not too worried about what's coming up, so... So I didn't talk much about the lore of the Catacombs when I was first here, because one, I didn't realize I was going to be talking so much about lore in this playthrough, back when I recorded those initial ones, and two, because I just kept, running to the Covenant or to Pinwheel and trying to deal with those rather than actually talking about it. But so we've got multiple layers of tombs going on here. We've got the graveyard up front, or up top. And those are, you know, it's a place. It's not particularly great, but, you know, it's a graveyard. It does the job. It's all very close to the parish, so I assume that this has some sort of relationship to the church. But then you've got this lower level, much larger, proper catacombs. So maybe the catacombs are for higher ranking people, higher ranking humans. Because if I've learned anything from Game of Thrones, it's that if you're fancy, you have a set of catacombs dedicated to your family. But given my lack of overall knowledge regarding, kind of the point of catacombs in real life, I'm not super sure. It could just be like a mass grave thing, and the ones up top are individualized, whereas these are not. These are just kind of a mass grave, and for the nobodies. And that, I don't know. I genuinely don't know, and I should have Googled catacombs before I started this, so I would know. Yeah, I mean, I see you. Don't worry. So as you can see, I'm not having a whole lot of trouble with this upper area. Or the catacombs in general, really. Because when exactly you're meant to go to the catacombs is kind of uncertain. And I addressed this a little bit when I fought Pinwheel. Pinwheel is a pretty hard boss if you fight him as, like, your first boss. But by the time most people see him, he's piss easy. And I'm two-shotting these guys. You can get here immediately when you land in Lordran. But it'd be crazy to try to do anything here. Especially since, much like the Great Hollow, it's a pain in the butt to get out if you don't have the Lord Vessel for warping capabilities. Is that everything? You can see it's busted down. Like, this used to be a wall. This wasn't meant to be a secret passage or anything. So, we've got a bridge here, covered in spikes. If you are good at sniping, you may be able to kill the Necropyromancer with a bow and arrow or something. But you still have to keep moving. Oh, and here's a problem. So, there was that trio of skulls there that explode. And if they kill the skeletons are going to come back because and those statues are booby-trapped. If they kill the skeletons are going to come back because they were not killed by something divine. Is that guy killed by the trap or something? And that's why I came back? I'm not sure. So it can be very tempting to run through and have the skeletons explode behind you, or the skulls explode behind you and kill the skeletons, and run up to this mechanism and activate it to switch the bridge. But then you'll turn around, and again, hello, skeleton party, they're going to be all up in your grill. Because even though it's just a few seconds, is enough for the skeletons to respawn. And then the skulls won't be there to kill the skeletons again, and you're going to have a bad time. And you don't want to have a bad time with skeletons. Alright, so that mechanism switched the bridge. And we're going to... Yeah, you do that. Yep, keep it up. These guys, you gonna come bother me? Come on up. There we go. So the weapon I'm using, the weapon that I made divine, has a pretty nice wide sweep and long reach, which is great for dealing with a lot of skeletons at once. Especially in these narrow corridors where they're all going to be kind of bunched together. Now this necromancer dropped a skull lantern. Let's make sure there are no skeletons around, and let's check that out. Skull lantern of the Catacombs necromancer droops from his long beard locks. I didn't notice that. This lantern lights the tomb of the giants, Nito's light-devouring domain of death. Also serves as a fire damage strike weapon. So it's a lantern. I think maybe the only lantern? I'd have to check. And in certain dark areas, and by certain I mean a single dark area, it provides a source of light. Now, unfortunately, it takes the place of either your left or right hand weapon or shield, so it prevents you from being as flexible with your moveset as you might like to be. It will always drop from one of the necromancers. If you get to the last one and kill it, it will definitely drop, because its necromancers are a limited supply, and they want to make sure you have it for the Tomb of the Giants, which it alluded to. There are other options that I prefer. And this looks like more like a proper grave, I guess. I think one of those is a trap hole, but I want to see what's over here. Oh yeah, we got a spiral staircase. This is giving me Skyrim flashbacks, because like everything you do in that game is basically a Draugr tomb. It looks exactly like this. This poor guy. I wonder. Wait, I want to look. What's on these statues? I don't know if I've taken a close look. I think these are the same masks that are on Pinwheel. So I don't know what's up with that. Heh. Yeah, he died to the trap. Poor schmuck. So yeah, maybe the Pinwheel crafted those masks after what were used traditionally in the Catacombs. That's my best option. That, or he's really, really vain and wanted to turn like every trap in the Catacombs into his own image, which would be pretty messed up. So it looks like it's the mother and the father, but I don't see the child. Or maybe it's the mother and the child and there's no father, because I don't see the beard. I'm trying to analyze it. It's worn down. I don't know what's up with this. Oh, fine work, skeleton. This looks like it was once an engraving. A dedication, perhaps. Because you can see vague chicken scratches. But I need to, extract the texture and see if it says anything. It's hard to tell. Because it looks vaguely, at least, an alphabet. You know, the alphabet, the one that the English-speaking and much of the, written world loves, but... Oh, we got a split path. I'm gonna keep going down. Yeah, I don't want to... What is that doing there? It's goofy. Oh, hey, you're a necromancer. And this is going to activate a thing. I don't know what it's going to activate. Oh, that bridge there. Okay. Or not. Alright. Ooh, okay, so this is a dark pit. I know where this goes. And you can see there is, in fact, ground there. You can tell by the item. But there's more stuff up here that I don't want to skip. I know where that goes, and it's worth showing off. But there's still more to see. That's not gonna work. Yes, this is where I want to be. Alright, so we got another bridge here that's blocked off by spikes. So we're gonna run over here. I love that these skeletons are wearing pants. That makes it a little bit cute. Now, if we'd come here earlier, like significantly earlier, there would have been an NPC here hanging out. We'll meet that NPC a bit later, but we did miss out on a little bit of dialogue. And I mean, if you're crazy go nuts, it is possible to, like, meet that NPC and get all this dialogue and still do everything else that I did. But that was way more planning than I wanted to put into this at the time. I mean, this is still relatively chill playthrough for me. Like, it's a lot of lore speculation, but most of it's being pulled out of my own ass, so there's not a lot of preparation. And so I just sit down and play the game, and that's nice. This looks like a breakable wall. Yeah. Oh, and this is a dev message. Apparently they didn't trust the players to be able to figure this out. And this, there's no real path. I'm gonna come back. Alright, we got a winding path. We got a bunch of floating skulls. Woo. Hey. 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 Alright, so the problem with having a bunch of skeletons up in your butt is that their attack patterns aren't always necessarily synced. So while one's recovering, another may start swinging. And so, especially with a slow-ish swinging weapon like the one I'm using right now, which I can't remember what it is. What is it? Bastard sword. It's not super slow, but compared to something like a dagger or a lot of dex weapons, if you can't get in a little hit and get some damage in while they're off sync, you could have some trouble. Ooh, and hey, you remember this? I remember dropping down here a lot. This is where we saw the Titanite demon, and there was that covenant. So let's explore a little bit more. Yeah, the demon was over here. But we didn't go off to this side path. There's a soldier in here. I don't know if he was a soldier who was braving the catacombs and trying to do something noble, or if he was just not really buried properly. Probably the former. Ooh. Oh, hey, trap door. Or trap floor. That's also a trap floor. Alright, which side do I want to drop down? Or do I want to go over here? Let's go over here, because there's a ladder. Now, as you can see, we're getting down deeper. People are getting individualized coffins, whereas before they were just kind of set into the wall. So that leads me to believe that the deeper you go, the more wealthy or noble or something the person living here. Hello! That's a sneak attack. Oh boy. Let's go up. So yeah, there's a Black Knight here. We haven't seen one of those in a while. Now, can Black Knights climb ladders? I don't think they can. Unfortunately, there's no real good spot to snipe the other folks. So let's do a drop attack. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, no. Oh, Black Knight Sand, why? Oh. Okay. Can't see anything. That skeleton's still climbing the ladder, and that'll give me time to backstab this dude. There we go. Ooh, and I got his axe. Excellent. So yeah, that's a bit of a tricky situation. You can, if you're clever, bait out... Oh, those weren't even the skeletons that were firing. You can, if you're tricky, snipe those dudes or draw their aggro and get them to follow you and hopefully avoid the Black Knight. Or you can rush into the Black Knight's room, and apparently those guys won't move, maybe. So, maybe that second option is what I think is a better idea. Anyway. Let's go over here. Oh, let's check out the description for the Great Axe. This is a hell of a weapon. It's heavy, but it's strong, and I'm being attacked by bone wheels. Oh. Okay. And what you just saw there was the single greatest reason I have ever seen to use the Great Shield of Artorias. The bone wheels, as I may or may not have explained when we first met them, that poor hip bone right there. I think that's a hip bone. The bone wheels, what they do is they attack over and over and over and over and over, and that bone wheel that fell into the floor just died. They'll attack over and over and over and over and run down your stamina really quickly. But the Great Shield of Artorias has great stamina reduction, so it barely cost me any stamina, and they ran out of spin pretty quickly. Or rather, they ran a spin at the regular rate, but I still had plenty of stamina to spare. So that's great.